Teamsters Canada is the union that represents workers in Canada's transportation sector. The union says the shutdown of the CN Rail's Eastern network could potentially put thousands of rail workers out of a job, and it's calling on Ottawa to find a solution to these rail blockades. Joining me now from the union in Montreal is Christopher Monette. Christopher is the Director of Public Affairs. Christopher, welcome to you.
Hi.
How many rail workers do you represent?
We represent 16,000 rail workers in Canada, as well as 125,000 workers pretty much in all sectors.
How many are at risk here?
Well, at risk, we're looking at up to 6,000 railroaders who are pretty much at risk of being being formally laid off over the coming days to weeks as CN shuts down its Eastern network, which also, of course, affects Via Rail and as well as a few other smaller rail companies.
6,000 workers. At what point would this happen?
Well, 6,000 workers is in the event of a full shutdown from coast to coast to coast, which, frankly, if nothing is done, that's where we're headed. As far as the eastern portion is concerned, we're going to see thousands over the coming days as trains are parked and secured safely and no further goods are shipped by CN Rail.
A full national shutdown, at what point would that happen? You think we're headed in that direction?
I absolutely think we're headed in that direction if Ottawa doesn't step in to find some sort of a solution. Now, I'll tell you right now, we're Teamsters, right? We operate trains, we drive trucks, we deliver parcels. We can't come on your show right now and say what exactly the solution is. It's a complex matter. But we can say it's a political problem. It requires a political solution, and that solution needs to come sooner rather than later, because right now we've got thousands of working families who are hurting.
Yeah, you are also a union, so you understand the power of protest and going on strike and affecting the economy of something. So is there a certain sympathy for the other side?
Look, absolutely. We respect the right to peaceful protest and to have this done within the context of the rule of law, but there is sympathy on it. But frankly, what we're doing right now and what we're calling and what we're trying to get out there is that this is affecting people who have no skin in the game, who are not going to be affected by the Coastal GasLink pipeline. And frankly, that needs to be part of the conversation. The fact that there are, just within our union, up to 6,000 workers who could start hurting and not being able to support their families or have trouble meeting ends meet this month.
What have you been hearing from rail workers and union members?
A lot of anxiety, because at the moment, even before the shutdown was announced, we had hundreds of our members who were sitting at home waiting for a call to go work, and obviously that call wasn't coming because the rail lines were blocked. And these members, they've been reaching out to us. They've been saying, I don't know how I'm going to make it meet, how things are, how we're going to make ends meet this month. They're telling us that they're worried, and obviously, it's there's this feeling of trepidation. It's an ugly feeling when you're just sitting around at home waiting for that call to come in. You always want to kind of be available and ready if that call comes in, but it just never does come in because what do you want? These rail lines are blocked.
What contact or efforts have the Teamsters made in terms of the government, for example?
We'll be reaching out to the government over the coming days. Obviously, this shutdown was announced just this afternoon, and that's why we're so alarmed, and that's why we've decided to come out publicly today.
What do you want to hear from the government? The Transportation Minister, as I understand it, is going to speak shortly.
Well, we'll be listening to that. What we want is for the government to come in and intervene and say that they're going to get parties to the table and try to get a solution and try to find a path forward for our members. We especially want our members to be reassured and for them to be able to continue working.
Do you believe that the OPP should enforce the injunction at Belleville?
You know, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. This is a political problem requiring a political solution, and as a union, we're not well placed to comment on the specifics of what exactly should be done. What we're doing is sounding the alarm, saying that there are people out there who are starting to hurt right now, and who have no skin in the game, who are bystanders in all this, but who are still feeling the consequences. Yeah.